Yo, what is going on, guys? And welcome back to the channel. So, first things first, if you haven't already, guys, be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to hit the subscribe button as well down there so you don't miss out on another episode. So, on this video, I basically want to go over the dangers of selling on Amazon, alright? Because, when you Google, like selling on Amazon, on Instagram, YouTube, or just anywhere, social media wise, you will only hear about the positives, right? Like making thousands of dollars every single month, doing no work once you send in shipments, easy, entry to barrier to get in, starting with little money and whatnot, right? But I made a list right here on the little clipboard on top 5 reasons why Amazon is dangerous to be selling on, why it's like the negatives of selling on Amazon and what comes with it. Because some of you who may be getting into the game of selling on Amazon, you may see all the positives, but you'll never hear any of these gurus actually tell you about the negatives, right? Like some of the actual real stuff that we go through on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly basis. So unless they tell you all this stuff, you're gonna go into this business model, going all in on it, and without knowing some of the actual negatives that come with it, you might run into it, some of them, and yeah, you'll probably quit. So without further ado, let's get started. So point number 5, tanking prices. This is probably one of the biggest things that us as Amazon sellers go through basically on a daily basis. You find a product that you were either scanning or title searching, maybe you're at Walmart, maybe you're doing some wholesale lead list type of stuff. You're going through them, you check out the item on Amazon, it's profitable, right? You decide, hey, what the heck, let me buy every single one of them. You're making $5 profit off each one, so you buy every single one of them. You prep it the next day, you ship it out, finally gets checked into Amazon within a week or two. Come to find out, you get on your laptop and it's not selling. So you go check it out, see what's wrong with it, and what do you know? The pricing has tanked. It was selling at $20 when you purchased the item, and now it's selling at $10. So now you're losing money, right? And this mainly happens because of a bunch of new sellers who get on selling on Amazon. They don't understand the fees, they don't understand the process, just different things that come into consideration when it comes to taking prices. So a bunch of new sellers come in and they just start selling it out because it doesn't sell fast enough for them, or they just need the money back ASAP. The thing, they need to sell it right now. So they start lowering and lowering and lowering. And as an Amazon seller, you got to be careful with these type of things, because you're gonna be losing money if you're not careful. Like if you don't have a proper repricer to reprice these things, or if you're not doing it manually, you're gonna be losing money on a bunch of items that you're not aware of. This has happened to me multiple times. Heck, even right now I got like 2-3 items that I went pretty deep in. You're not even profitable right now, so I'm losing money on that. Lead lists come out. You buy these in Discords, Facebook groups. You have people who make like 10-20 item lists for people to purchase, so you don't have to do as much work, right? They do the work for you. Problem with that is that they either don't limit enough people to purchase these lead lists, or they have no limit whatsoever. And yeah, when you're selling it to hundreds of other sellers who buy the exact same lead list as you, then you're competing with like 50 to 100 other sellers. So yeah, that product's not even good no more whatsoever. So again, number 5, tanking prices. It's a pretty bad one, but probably not as bad as the other 4. So number 4 on the list, restricted brands. Now, what I mean by this is that there are certain brands on Amazon, well, in general, that don't like their products being sold on Amazon, right? Now, some brands, when you scan them or whatever, they'll tell you right away, hey, you're not allowed to sell this certain brand, okay? But other times, there'll be some brands that they'll allow you to sell it temporarily, and then out of nowhere, you'll get an email or something, or you might not even get an email. You probably have your listing shut down that same day, basically telling you that, hey, they're not allowing no sellers to sell this product anymore, and you have 30-60 days to basically remove or sell any items you have. And yeah, it just knocks off every seller. So You know, like if you're pretty deep on one certain brand and this happens to you, and that brand makes a majority of your profit, that's really gonna, demolish your business right there. This happened recently with the brand called as Spring Valley, which if you do a retail arbitrage and you shop a little at Walmart, it's a supplement brand that you purchase from there. And they recently actually came out with an email that basically said, hey, you got 60 days to basically sell out of this item or remove your listings, because they're just gonna ban everybody from selling that particular brand. Now, luckily I only sold like 2-3 items from this brand, so it's not really affected me. But for somebody who specifically targeted that brand and was making a killing from that brand, well, they're completely screwed up. So yeah, again, number 4, restricting brands. If you're not careful, this could seriously damage your business. Number 3, and this is probably the most common one that people seem to really be getting, is IP claims. Now, an IP claim is basically when someone's basically alleging that you're selling either a fake or counterfeit item, right? So let's say someone purchases it, buys an iPhone from you. Let's say you're selling an iPhone. Well, the customer buys it, and they're suspicious that it's fake, so they go ahead and hit you with an IP claim. And if you're not careful and you're not aware of this, and you don't resolve it quickly, an IP claim can basically shut down your account until it's resolved. So that will basically shut down your whole business if you're not extremely careful. And again, this happens from counterfeit type of stuff. If you sell garage items or buy stuff from the thrift stores, you have a high chance of actually getting these too, because you're not going to be able to prove that this is from a legit actual distributor / wholesaler. Even with a little bit RA, if you buy stuff from like Ross, Goodwill, or some of those type of stores, it's going to be hard for you to prove that it's from a legit manufacturer, because some of these stores can't even prove it themselves, because it's just handout type of stuff, right? And then other sellers will literally hit you with IP claims and try to get you off certain brands so that they can continue selling the items themselves. So again, you have to be careful about this, because if you're not careful, your account will get basically banned and you will not be allowed to sell on Amazon. So that's a pretty heavy one, okay? Now, number 2 on the list that makes it dangerous to sell on Amazon, unseen rules, unseen guidelines, like rules that Amazon decides to make that come just basically out of nowhere due to certain circumstances. Now, the best one that I can come up, best example that I can come with on this one is, what happened 2 years ago. This whole, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this on here, because I don't want this video to be, taken down, but a certain thing happened that people got severely sick or whatever, right? So when this happened, Amazon decided, due to certain circumstances, that they were only basically taking shipments from sellers who sold either grocery items or like safety type of items that were needed during these times. So this is extremely bad, because if you weren't prepared for this, guys, and let's say you only sold toys, books, or clothing, then Amazon was not allowing you to ship any of those type of products into their fulfillment centers. Okay, so if your whole business model consisted of these particular items and that's all you sold, you basically were either out of business or you had to re-strategize your whole business model as a whole. And if you didn't know how to adapt to those guidelines, to those changes, it probably demolished your business completely. Now, but of course, that was just for sending products to FBA. You could still merchant fulfill them, meaning you could still ship them out yourself to the customer. So if you adapted to that, then you came out pretty okay. You had to do, you had to work a little bit harder, but you survived, right? So, again, those unseen rules, you can't predict them. When that happened, yeah, let's just say I had to shift my mindset and my business into, I had to pivot basically, and so I'd start diversifying into other categories. So it didn't hurt me too much because I started merchant fulfilling them, anyways. But it just happened, so you have to diversify. And frankly, I'm kind of glad it happened, because it actually boosted my, whole business even further. So, and the number 1 reason that Amazon is dangerous to sell on their marketplace, guys, is that at the end of the day, it's Amazon's sandbox, okay? It's their platform, it's their rules, their guidelines. They, at the end of the day, they really don't give a crap about me or you, okay? Like, I mean, I've seen, in groups where people get frustrated, they get mad about Amazon customer service because it's frankly, terrible. Their seller support, it's terrible. But I see it, they're like, hey, Amazon sucks. They don't do this. They don't do that. They don't help me with this. And frankly, I mean, at the end of the day, it is their rules, their guidelines, and you have to be prepared to basically deal with those guidelines because it's their business. We're just third-party sellers on that platform. We're just, little people to them, right? Like, we make the money, they take the fees, and they get their cut. So, doesn't matter if you complain about this or that. At the end of the day, it's their guidelines. Now, there are certain regulations with politicians and whatnot that can, try to fix some of these guidelines and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you either have to just deal with the problem, with the rules and whatnot, and just follow them as much, as best as you can, or don't sell at all, or sell somewhere else. You can sell on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, and but they have their own guidelines too, right? But compared to a lot of other spots, Amazon probably is the most strictest one. I've sold on eBay, Mercari, and all that before, and yeah, Amazon is more stricter on certain things. But hey, that's looking at it the negative side. But if you look at it from a positive side, that also means that other sellers won't even bother to start selling on Amazon, which means less competition and more money for me and you. So again, that could be dangerous because if you don't want to follow their guidelines, you can't even sell at all, or you'll get banned if you don't follow certain rules, follow certain guidelines. So another example of that is with drop shipping. A lot of people think you can do retail drop shipping on Amazon. Truth be told, you'll probably get your account banned within a month or so. Now, if you do wholesale drop shipping, then that's legit. So again, there's guidelines that you need to follow, and it's really up to you whether or not you want to follow them and make a business out of it, or you don't and you do something else. Because at the end of the day, it's their sandbox. Okay, there's not really much me or you are going to be able to do about it. But yeah, so those are my basically top 5 dangers of selling on Amazon. Now, before I wrap it up, I don't mean to scare any of you when I make this video, okay? I just want you to know what you're getting into before you get too deep into this business model, okay? Because there's just way too many gurus out there, selling you a life, like a daydream or whatever. And without knowing the proper stuff needed to go in there, it's gonna hit you out of nowhere, and you're just not gonna know what to do or not even be aware of it. So with that being said, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. I didn't mean this video to extend too much, but I like to go into deep detail on my videos just so you guys understand it more. But yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys go, get back to out here hustling, have to get on the laptop and stuff, and I'll see you on the next one later.